We're Board Game Geek. I'm here with designer Christophe Bourdiger.
Bonjour.
Hey, looking at Rise and Fall. This is not a final version of the game, but coming from Ludically. Hope you can give an overview of what we're doing here. I know we're building a LAN, apparently.
Yeah, the cover is, the title is not definitive, but the rest of the cover is quite definitive. There's a little bit more waterfalls that are going to appear, I think, but it's very close. It's 90% what it's going to be.
Okay.
It's a game quite recent in my mind, I would say. What you see here is only prototype pieces, except everything's prototype, sorry. And so you're going to see only prototype things, but the game is solid on the rules and everything I'm going to explain. Nothing's going to change about that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's called Rise and Fall because it's a game that is like a civilization game, but without the technological tree, you know, of evolution or whatever. So it's a light civilization game. I'm going to be able to say it, but it's a 30-minute per player civilization game once you know how to play. It's a game with no random at all. So I'm a big fan, for example, of the old Full Metal Planet or Dungeon Twister had no random, so I like to have control. This one is a full control game. There's no random at all, even less than Dungeon Twister. It's zero random. We build the map together at the beginning, but we decide what we do. It's not really random. And it's a rise and fall because you're going to see that you start with a few tribes and almost nothing, and you're going to grow your civilization simply with just meeples. And at some point, things are going to be triggered and you will lose part of the thing, like the ships. Maybe you're going to abandon that, or the temples, or the religion. You're going to have in your life of your civilization some points where you feel the fall of the rise and fall, I would say. So basically we start by building the board. Here on one side, maybe I should wait to. Okay. On one side, you have of the card. You have the number of players and the number of pieces that we are supposed to take for a two-player game. For 3 players, we have a little bit more pieces, and for a little more. So far, it's a 4-player game. There's no way by providing you other pieces that we couldn't turn into a 5 or 6-player game. It would perfectly function. Right. Anyway, at the beginning, we have to start. It shows you on this side how to start the beginning of the map, and we do like that. And then we're going to expand the map. Taking that, so we take you Alf and me Alf, and you go for it. The order has doesn't really matter. You place one, you have to touch 2 tiles, well, minimum. So I cannot go all the way here. I could do that, and you cannot do a closed hole, I would say.
Okay.
But if it's not enclosed, like here, this I cannot do. Okay, this neither because I touched only one, so I can expand here, around there.
Okay.
And then on top of that, we're going to place the plains one, the green ones. So strategically, at this point, it's not really important. What is important is how we're going to have the map at the very end. I'm sorry, I had more. It was you to place. So normally we place one each other, so we have the same. So you take like alpha you, and you go ahead, and then you can only pile on top of it. You can do whatever you want, but you cannot be on top of a hole or something like that, of course.
Right.
If we cannot place everything, no, you do whatever you want. If at some point we cannot place everything that we're supposed to place, then the player has to move 1 tile and place it. It's always possible. Never saw any blockage so far.
Okay.
I don't. If in case you couldn't do it with 1 tile, then you can move 2. Well, once you know the game, you want to see big seas or more land or mountains. I'm not going to explain all that now. It's not of huge importance.
All right.
So here I can still place only here, and you might have the problem now that you cannot place the last one. So you're going to have to move at least 1 and enter the other one if you want. Okay. So here we don't have a big sea, we just have smaller seas. And now on top of that, we're going to place this, and we go to the smallest one every time. We're missing some.
Oh, hey.
We're missing the mountains. Where's my box? It's in the box probably. I'm sorry.
Right here.
There's no mountain in there? There was not? Ah, it's in there probably. The mountains and the snow. Take Alf, and I will take Alf. So how many mountains? 6.
Okay.
3 for you. Okay, let you search. So normally we should alternate always, but it's not a huge deal at this point to explain. So you see that the tiles will be a lot more thicker in the final game.
Right.
And so you place one. We have 6 totally. Here. So it's my turn. So the mountains, the cliff, when you have more than one level different, it's going to be a cliff. And the cliff, not everybody can pass them. In the meeples we have montagnards, so I think in English you would say the mountain people, or something like that. So we only have 2 because we have the same number as the number of players we are, and that's the snow, the ice rift up there. And that's what you see on the cover, as a matter of fact. When you see the landscape that this board generates, it's not a landscape you would see on Earth, because it's a mix of archipelago things, and it's a mix of fjords with the water coming in, and it's a mix with the snow meets like the jungle. So it's a landscape that doesn't exist on Earth. And when I saw that, that's what I was telling myself, it cannot be an historical game. It has to be in an heroic fantasy world. We're going to talk about it at the end, because I have races with different people, the flying people, the snakes, the whatever, that are on this planet. So we are on the fantasy world, and you can see it from the map here.
Okay.
Now what we're going to do, we start with only, I still have one forest, should have been there, so let's place it here. We start with only 3 pieces. We start only with a citizen, like the normal, usual meeple, I would say.
Okay.
We start with a town, a small town, and we start with a ship. And in our hands, we have the same cards as the pieces we control during all the game, only one of each.
Okay.
Only one of each. Well, that's a temple. I'm sorry. The town, you have a lot more. Here you go.
Okay.
And so, you're going to place first, I place second, you place, I place, until we placed all the pieces, and then the player who placed last, who will go first, okay? And we have those cards in hand, and we are going to choose which piece we're going to play first by playing it face down, revealing at the same time. I will go first, do my things, you will go first, second, do your things, and then, when we have no more cards, we will recycle them. But if we build some units, we're going to have access to other different units, which are, we have 6 units, different ones, and we start with only 3. So your hand, it's like a mini deck builder. Your hand starts with only 3 cards, but if at some point you have no more ships, you're going to have to get rid of this card because you have no ships in there, so it's going to go in your reserve. And if at some point you start building a temple, you're going to get the temple card coming in your hand, and you can be able to play it.
Okay.
Each card shows you exactly all the options of what you can do with a meeple. You can move, you can construct, you can get resources, work, you can be educated, and you can construct a town, you can construct a ship, and you can build a temple, and the different locations. So those cards do many things. They show you the type of pieces, they show you how many pieces of this type you have in your set at the beginning, and the number of victory points you will get at the end of the game if you have so many pieces when the game ends.
Okay.
This is one of the scoring pack. This is all the options you can do. It serves as memory, an example also, because sometimes they have examples that are quite complex, I would say, on the card, but that shows you the action you can do, and as well an example, okay? And that's it. So you also know the victory points. For each of them, we're going to see what they can do, but maybe we should start playing them and go ahead. So maybe first we should place, because we're not going to enter deep explanation, I guess.
Okay.
So why don't I go first, and I say you're going to play first if I go first. I'm going to put a town.
So he's played a card and...
No. First we set up. We set up the 3 pieces we have.
Yes,
so I'm going to set my town here, or here.
Right.
It's even better.
I'll be over here.
Okay. Then our ship, you want to have them in a big sea, and where he touches towns, because it makes money if there's towns touching the sea where he is doing trading.
I will work for the future.
Okay, you go on the future. And then I think it's better to spread than being in the same place, so I'm going to set myself here.
Okay.
Okay? And then when we set up, you're going to be the first player. There should be a big marker, but I don't know where it is. I'm sorry, it's a bit... But this is the first player marker. It's the background of the sea thing. Okay. You choose a card, place it face down. I do the same. So I'm going to do that. Okay. And... we reveal. So you're the first player. With your house, what can you do?
I can.
You can breed you don't breed, but it's like part of your population goes away and they're gonna build something else. Or you can transform an adjacent citizen, you don't have any, into a montagnard, a mountain guy, or into a merchant that will make money. Okay. Or you can get money, take taxes, you see tax from your city, and get 1 if you're in the mountain, 2 if you're in the plain, which is your case, you're here, and 3 if you're in the forest. Okay. Money.
No, let's have more people.
Okay, so that's a good deal. Okay. Me, I played the guys, so with this guy I can do, can either move or do a resource, and I'm going to take a wood, or I could build a city if I have enough things, and it's written here. And then we go again with another card. And I'm going to do that. I played very badly. I'm explaining at the same time. So I do the city.
It's always a challenge.
And you're the first one still. Okay. This is going to pass when we recycle. Well, 1 player recycle, we're going to switch to first player. So with the ship, you can even move. It's infinite, as long as you're in the same sea. And you can even cross other ships from opponents, as you can see. With the ship, you can construct a city, and you abandon the ship, and it's going to cost you 2 stones.
Which I don't have.
Which you don't have. You could construct a city only on the plane, okay?
But I don't have
or a temple, and then you could transform it to a man. This you could do. It costs nothing. That means you abandon the ship and now you're on land. Or you could transform by paying money, but you don't have money yet, to a tradesman, a camel. Or you can make money, and that's where, since you touch nothing, making money, you will make 0. So here in your situation, that's why I was saying it's good to.
I will just transform.
Yeah, you can transform and come invade me and try to block me here, because it's a land domination. We didn't talk about the victory thing. So let's talk quickly maybe about how you make victory points at the end. The first thing you saw is the number of pieces you will have of each at the end of the game. The second thing is every time somebody finishes one type of pieces, the temple, for example, there's only 3.
Right.
If you finish your temples, then you're going to take one of your trophy, little thing like that, and put it on the temple here, and you're going to score 7 victory points at the end of the game, and nobody can do that anymore.
Right.
The game ends in a normal game when there's 5 trophies placed. We never put the 6th one. In the beginner game, we played in 4 trophies, so it goes a little bit faster for them to understand. Since there's no luck, it's a very punitive game, I would say. It's better that they discover and restart another one than suffer for a long game.
Right.
So you can adjust the length of the game by deciding to play in 4, 5, or 6 trophies. That's another way. Third way is at the end of the game, we're going to look on the other side of the card, and it tells you how many points you get for each hexagons of each type of land you control. So the mountains are the one that we fight for the mountains in this game because it's the top view we control, and they give you 4 points. But it's for the people who have the majority in this mountain. For example, this mountain is 6 squares big. The ice is included into it, so it's 6 times 4. This is 24 points.
Okay.
But if you have 2 meeples on it at the end of the game and me only 1, you're going to get the 24 points. And if we are equal, we don't get points. And that's what it explains here. So the plains 1, the sea are 2, the forests are 3, and the mountains are 4. So at the end of the game, that scores a lot of points. So you want to, it's a domination game, or I don't know what you call those type of game. It's a land control game. Trophy thing, the numbers you have here, and there's one last thing is the money, and for each set of 5 of money you get 1 victory points. And there are ways to do, for example, around the end of the game, sometimes I made up to 80 gold in one action with the boats, for example. That's how far you can go. So 80 is like 12 victory points or something like that, more than that. 16.
Yeah.
Okay. So that you know about the thing. Okay. So invading is also a good idea if you don't score with the sea here. You can always come back and construct another boat later. So then we play the third card, which is that. And you go first. Oh, we never show the cards before. We always pass. So
but I only had one left.
No, but after it's going to change. Sometimes people don't cycle at the same thing. No, you don't have one left because you have no more boat. This goes into your reserve. I forgot to say that. So you see, already you're changing the thing, and you would have.
This was still my final card in hand.
You didn't recycle it yet.
Yes.
So you play the guys, and you get a wood, and me, with my boat, I'm going to get money. There's 1 town, and it shows here that you get 2 per town around, no matter if it's yours or the opponent's towns. So the more there's going to be towns around this lake, the more I'm going to take money. So I get only 2. Sorry. There we go. And then we recycle. Because we recycle, I'm becoming the first player, and we go like that. And so as soon as you build something, you're going to get the other card, and we'll change your recycle thing. So what are the other cards doing? The ships, they're making money, they can move. The towns, we saw. The guys, they can construct everything, and they can get the resources and move only 1. What we talked about is the montagnard. The montagnard, they move 2 already. And they can go on any land, as you can see, including the snow. So they can pass the snow, go on the other side, so they're not blocked. That's where you unlock the game. They can construct, take all resources also, but they construct only houses. They don't do temples. Mountain people, they don't really believe, I guess. And they only use wood, so they do like chalet. I think that's what you call it. And they only will use wood, but they're the only one being able to construct, for example, in the mountains. The normal citizens, they don't construct in the mountains. So that's the difference. The temple, it's quite funny, and it's the only, I would say, a little bit aggressive thing that there's between the player on the map, apart from blocking the other players from reaching certain places and all. When you build a temple, let's say you build a temple, not in the wood, because the temples are mostly built on the mountains or on the plains, so you can see them. In the woods, you don't really see them far, so that's the only place you can build them. So let's say you build a temple here. One of the action you can do is convert. By paying money, you convert the adjacent citizen or mountain people that would have crossed and come here. You can pay money and change it to your color. So it's not a fight, it's not whatever, it's like a change of religion, of change of racial affection, whatever.
Yes.
Which brings me to the last thing, because maybe I think you saw kind of all the mechanics. I know the fall. What is the fall? Let's say I finished the third temple. I placed the third temple. I'm going to place my thing here on the temple. Good, I'm going to score 7 points at the end, which is not so much, honestly. But what happens is that when somebody finishes, at the end of the turn, everybody has to put a card here. From their hand or from their reserve.
Okay.
Not from or from their discard, sorry, not from their reserve because they don't have the pieces in play.
Right.
So let's say I was like that and I played all that. I could decide that the thing that I use the less maybe is the ship. I discard the ship and everybody does that face down and then we reveal. And after this phase, at each end of each turn, we can always buy back some cards. But the more there's cards, the more they're expensive in money to buy them back. So if you go for a rush and you finish quickly a lot of trophies and everybody throws cards, sometimes even yourself might end up with only one card and playing the same one every turn. Sometimes it's good, it can be a strategy.
Right.
Sometimes it's really not good at all and you feel like your civilization got to a stuck point, kind of. The others are still evolving and you cannot evolve and the prices are more and more expensive and it's getting more and more difficult for you to buy the cards back.
Right.
And the rhythm of the game with all the players, whether they go fast to place the trophies or not, are totally going to change the thing. So me, I like to play the risky way. I usually go fast because right from the start, you transform your boat to a guy. You see, you can drop to 2 cards.
Right.
So now having 2 cards, you know what you're going to draw and do, and you have a total control on the game. So you can speed up your deck thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the thing. When you have to play, there's only one way to be eliminated is if at the beginning of your turn you have no cards because you threw everything away and you could never buy something and you don't have enough money to buy one back. Then it's the extension of your civilization. You can do nothing, and you have to remove your pieces. I saw it only once in one game. But so it's really hard to become instinct, but it's a possibility. So voila. The last thing is that basically when you play the standard game like that could be tournament style because there's no random at all.
Yes.
Just constructing the board and we decide. Then there's another mode that's has a little bit of fun and a little bit of asymmetric thing and unbalance. That there's like 27 races that are developed. They all have different powers, different abilities, doing different things. They're not really totally balanced, for sure. It's impossible on a balanced game like that. So what we do is that if we're 2 players, we split the package, and I'm going to choose one for me and give one for you.
Okay.
So I'll pick for probably the one I judge the best for me and give the most crappy one that I have in my hand to you, which makes us see always 2 different population on the map at different game, because if not, nobody will never select the ones that they judge are the worst.
Right.
So that's one thing. And when you play, the good thing is that since it's quite a punitive game, it's, you understand what I say?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
my wife,
it's not friendly.
It's one of
yes.
Yeah, because there's no, and the scoring at the end can be from 100 to 300. So when you at 2 player you really beat somebody bad, it's going to be at 80 or something like that, and you might be at 300 something.
Right.
So it's a punishment kind of for some people. They don't accept that. And my wife, for example, on this game, I never saw her like that. When the first game she played, she was looking at me like. And she never did that. Second game, like, she really liked, but we were 3 and 4 players. But when she played with me alone, that's when the score was like this, and I saw her face. She didn't like the game anymore. And I was like, but you like the game? I said, yeah, I love the game. But when I play with you, it's not the same game anymore. I don't like it. And that's when I realized that it was too punitive. And that's when we started to play with an handicap with that. Yeah. So if we play an handicap, and I don't know, I'm with a kid, he never played, and I want to still have concentration, maybe I'm going to give him half the pack. He's going to choose 2 cards for him. And me, I'm going to have to give 2 cards to him. Right. So he will have 4 powers, and me, I will have 0. That's how I can balance. And so the game will propose some handicap system using the races of the different population you have on this planet to kind of balance this punitive thing between different players.
Okay. It's a fascinating system. So I mean, just sort of the openness of it, where you're building the world and then going it all over in whichever ways you want. Yes.
And you never know how it's going to end up. The map is never the same. It's more various when you're 3 and 4 players, of course, because you have more pieces. So when you play 2 players, it might seem to you that it's kind of like look the same, but it's never really the same.
Yeah.
And then you have a score track at the end. Yeah, I didn't talk about that. To count the score when you finished everything. It's quite a quick game once you know how to play. I think at 2 player with my wife now when we play, it's going to be 45 minutes. It's less than 30 minutes. The first game is really 30 minutes per player.
Right.
So that's it. So that should be out. We have the cover. We have most of the artworks that people are working on it. So I don't know, but I guess in summer or
sometime before the end of 2019.
But I was thinking at the beginning. Hicham was thinking about for SN, and I was talking to him lately. Said, no, this game might come out the same time as Living Planet, as a matter of fact, because there's not so many things as all the expansion and things we have on the other one. So I don't know yet. We don't have a date. It's a nice surprise that just dropped in my head in the middle of everything else, and we just said, wow, it's really. I like the games where there's no luck, and for this one, my wife liked it also. So it was like,
Okay.
It's not because everything is on the card. The main thing, the system is, but
right.
You have all the rules on 6 cards. That's what she liked, I think, because
yeah.
she never asked me the question again for anything.
Right.
She was just looking at the card, everything's iconographic. Sometimes she missed something, like, she constructed a town on a mountain with a normal guy, with a citizen. And I was telling her no. And then she looked at the cards, oh yes, you're right. I cannot do that, I can see it. So, no, I guess it's easy. So it can fit to people that are more family or grand public, I would say.
Okay.
And then it can fit to the people who like to break their brain calculating everything because they have full control, which is my type. So I guess we have the good middle thing because it's not too complex and it's still a civilization. There's no arborescence of technology, of course, but there's still the powers of the little guy.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Christophe.
You're welcome.
First look at Rise and Fall. There's a lot going on. And here, I'm going to try to put it all together in your head.
You have to come playing on the
play
booth
and see.
when
Yes.
you're not working.
Okay. Let's see. if we
He's
can do
doing
that.
too many videos. He
All
cannot
right.
play anymore. Poor
Thank
guy.
you. Thank you for the overview.
Bye-bye.